everybody. Welcome to a live edition of Holding Court here on this snowy Sunday morning. I'm, of course, First Day Hoops Report founding editor and Holding Court host, Chris Stevens. Hopefully you all are doing well out there. It is Sunday once again. The reason we're doing this live is because, well, I had a busy day yesterday. If you guys are not familiar, I cover all manners of black college sports for HBCUsports.com. And yesterday was the Celebration Bowl. No, unfortunately, I was not in Atlanta for the game, but we did a 5-hour live stream of that game yesterday. And we all know about the controversy with the Celebration Bowl, man. It was a trip. And I was so tired after, being on live stream for 5 hours. I was like, I am not recording Home Court tonight. I just didn't feel like doing it. So I put an Instagram, poll together. I said, so if I did a live Holding Court, would you guys be okay with that? And more than 80% of the people polled said yes. So we're doing a live show today. So we're going to talk Delaware High School basketball as we always do. We are going to talk about, the games that were this past week, the invitationals and showcases going on at Mount Pleasant and Salesiana, which is right down the block from me, and a couple of 1,000-point scores. But first, I do want to share something with you guys. As you guys may or may not know, I'm really a music lover to the heart. So my boss at my day job said, you need to start a music podcast. So this is my music podcast. It is called On the Groove Line. And I'm already gotten, a few great guest appearances from some old school R&B folks, talking R&B and music and all of that good stuff. So if you want to subscribe to my music YouTube, you can do that by clicking this lovely link right here. Make sure I put it up both on the Facebook and the YouTube pages so y'all can check it out. All right. So that's my one quick promotion for the day. So let's talk about the suspensions. Let's go ahead and just jump right into that. So if you guys missed it, Kevin Tresolini, who of course has been reporting on all manners of Delaware sports, I don't want to age Trez here, but he's been doing this as long as I've been alive, and he's one of the very best. So he ran a report, or he reported, because he's a reporter, he goes and actually does the work, that several Delaware high school basketball coaches were suspended for an out-of-season tournament. Of course, the guilty parties, and I say this loosely because I don't think they're guilty of anything, of any wrongdoing, are Lonnie Wright of St. Mark's, Chris Laws of Glasgow, and Rod Griffin from St. George's. Now, my opinion has always been that if you want the kids to get better at basketball, at least here in Delaware, you have to let them see other things. And that means, tournaments where you play kids from the DMV, Philly, Jersey, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, California, Texas, Ohio, Michigan, Florida, on and on it goes. But it seems to me, and I say this all the time, and and you know me, I really don't care who has a problem with what I'm saying. But it seems like the DIAA and this, ethics committee or whatever just does not want basketball to succeed in Delaware. Because every time you turn around, somebody's getting suspended, somebody's getting reprimanded. We don't have a shot clock yet. The kids can only play 20 games a season. I mean, really, do you really want basketball to succeed in Delaware or not? Because if you're suspending, and granted, it's I'm trying to figure a way to word this so I don't lose my cool, because I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed for Lonnie Wright. I'm annoyed for Chris Laws. I'm annoyed for Rod Griffin, because none of this makes any sense. None of it makes any sense. If you're going to sit here and say that, okay, because a Delaware high school basketball coach is running a tournament, that it's illegal, that a coach that coaches his kids 6 months out the year, because let's just say, basketball season starts in November and, they still hanging around the gym, say, April and May. So what's the difference if you're going to have them coaching them during the regular season that you can't have them coaching during the offseason? Personally, for me, I would much rather have a coach and player who know each other and, work in the same school, do all of this other stuff, and do what they want to do, and, work out together, or, put a team together for these off-season tournaments and AAU things and all of that, and let them rock. But apparently Delaware doesn't see it that way. And it's unfortunate because more kids are going to leave. I mean, Lonnie Wright lost a ton of kids to the Philadelphia Catholic League. I mean, what's he going to do? Is he just going to, sit idly by and just not be able to build a basketball program at St. Mark's? I tell you what, the St. Mark's people ain't going to put up with that, because St. Mark's has been one of the traditionally strong programs in basketball for 50 years, going back to when the mayor of Wilmington, John Carney, was the point guard for St. Mark's way back when. So, again, the suspensions, I think it's stupid. I'm not gonna back down off of that. And again, I don't care who gets offended, because it's ridiculous. Because either you want basketball in Delaware to succeed or you don't. And I get the feeling that DIAA and the ethics committee and all these other folks don't want basketball to succeed. And to add on to that, while we're here, there is a push from a state legislature, a state legislator for this, divided tournament business. And granted, if this is the hill you want to die on, if this is what you want your legislative legacy to be, cool. But you look stupid, as a coach of a different sport trying to legislate what basketball does. Like, I have no problem saying that what this legislator is proposing or forcing the basketball committee to do is ridiculous. Because there's not enough teams for 2 and 3 levels of basketball in Delaware. There's not. And it's not like football. I will give the football split credit, because it was kind of awkward to see, like teams like AI, teams like Glasgow, teams like Dickinson getting slaughtered by Howard and Appo and St. George's and, Middletown and so on and so forth. So football needed a split, because there are more kids and there are more risks of getting hurt. Because, when a 1A faces off against a 3A, it's no contest. It's absolutely no contest. But for basketball, it doesn't apply. You need 2 or 3 kids tops to be a state contender in Delaware. And there are 2 or 3 kids walking around every school in this state, boys and girls, that can make a state tournament run. Guaranteed. And just forcing a split tournament because you feel like, this, makes you'll wear the white hat in the state, that you have, solved the problem of competitive balance in high school sports in Delaware. It just makes you look like a jerk. That's my personal opinion. Because you're taking away a legacy, a tradition. Delaware is probably the last, or one of the last, that has a single state champion for boys and girls basketball. And after this year, we could lose that. Because some people just feel like, oh, wow, we did it with football. We do it with soccer. We do it with field hockey. Why don't we do it every sport? I can tell you the volleyball people ain't going to be happy about that. The baseball people ain't going to be happy about that. The soccer people ain't going to be happy about that. So y'all are just risking, cutting off your nose to spite your face, because if you don't think those athletes won't leave Delaware for greener pastures, then you got another thing coming. But I just want people to understand that basketball in Delaware is the only sport that gets disrespected like this. Football doesn't have these problems. Baseball doesn't have these problems. Soccer doesn't have these problems. Volleyball doesn't have these problems. Field hockey, wrestling, swimming, ice hockey, on and on it goes. Basketball is the only one that it gets this level of scrutiny. And it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, I'm still, my mind is still blown when I was listening to the state tournament committee last March. And the executive director said that he didn't want kids shaking hands after the games because, there were going to be fights and all of that. And there wasn't one single fight. Not one. So if you're casting this, this assumption onto strictly basketball, like there aren't crazy fans and helicopter parents in every sport, then what are you saying about basketball? Just disrespectful. I just wanted to get that off my chest before we get into the fun part, which is the basketball. And last week I went to go see St. E's versus Padua, because I had St. E ranked number 1 in my girls rankings, and they made me look good. Padua, though, they're tough. Denise Igo Sackett, she coaches a tough brand of basketball, and those girls really, really, follow their leader. I mean, Kai Durantry, if she was 6'1", she would be dangerous. I mean, she's already dangerous. I mean, but if she was like a 6'1" forward instead of like a 5'7", 5'8" forward, she'd probably be the top player in the state. She's probably top 10 now. Like, she's just relentless on the boards, offensively and defensively. And she finds a way to, sort of, cut in between, taller players and get her shots up and get baskets and get to the free throw line. I mean, Lily DeMarco, who is committed to Newman, she's another good player. Sophia Buffon, I expect her shooting to pick up eventually. Like, Padua had a really good chance at beating St. E, but St. E just had too many weapons, man. I mean, for one, Zamalacita Owens probably is the top point guard in the state right now. Like, she does everything that Ty Taylor asks her to do. She starts the break. She directs the offense in midcourt. She, plays tough defense on the perimeter. Like, she just kept ripping the Padua guards every chance she got. And Michaela Sullivan is another fantastic defender. Like, when you have a girl that's 6 foot who can defend on the wing, on the perimeter, and in the interior, you ain't gonna get too many shots up, and you're not gonna get too many passes through. And they just have St. E has a wealth of talent. They're well coached. Ty Taylor, of course, is one of the outstanding coaches and trainers in Delaware. And St. E is my number one right now on the girls' side. And Sanford, well, let's just be clear. We already know they're going to win the independent conference. Let's just call a spade a spade. They won their first game 64-9. They won their second game 94-20. Both of those against independent conference teams. That's why Marcus Thompson schedules all of these out-of-state games, because they need competition. They need a workout before they start to see Ursuline, before they start to see St. Elizabeth, before they start to see Caravel, before they start to see whichever public school is going to take the leap this year. And there are a couple of public schools that can take a leap. From number one, I'm genuinely surprised that Cape Henlopen is 3-0. And that is not a slight to that team, but they graduated all of their size last year. Haven Green and Hayden Hudson graduated last year. So, it's like, okay, what do you do now? But you still have Amalia Fruck. And Amalia Fruckman on your team is better than most players have on their teams. In fact, she became the second player in the state this year to score 1,000 points this past Friday against Sussex Central, excuse me. So we got two girls that are leading the way for our 1,000 point club to start the season. Marche Brown of Early College scored her 1,000th point Saturday, December 6th against DMA, and Amalia Fruckman scored her 1,000th point against Sussex Central this past Friday, December 12th. So Cape is 3-0, and they just went down to she got game, and Amalia's younger sister Amara hit a 3-pointer to beat Haverford. Haverford ain't no slouch. If you know Pennsylvania ball, Haverford ain't no slouch. So Cape is 3-0. That's a public school team that could take the leap. I still like Smyrna though. They just got shocked by Cape Henlopen to open up their Henlopen conference play, but they got to play each other again in January. They got to go down to Cape. Smyrna does. So that game is going to be very interesting, not just for the Henlopen North, but for possibly state tournament positioning. So that's a public school that can take a leap. Howard has a young guard named Kennedy Miller who is just showing up and showing out, a 9th grader. I mean, Curtis Clack, he's a great coach anyway, but now he's got some younger talent in there. I mean, he's always had senior heavy teams that have succeeded, but I think he has maybe 2 or 3 seniors that play like pivotal roles. Everybody else is a sophomore and a junior and a freshman. So Howard could make that leap as a public school. I'm very interested to see them against St. George's on Monday, if this snow melts by then, because the girls' hammer and nail final is supposed to be Monday. So we'll be there for that. And Caravel is still the defending champion until further notice. They've had a couple of out-of-state games that have, not gone their way, but in-state, they've looked pretty good. I mean, they outscored Archmere 26-9 in the third quarter on Friday. I wanted to go to that game so bad. Oh, my God. I wanted to go to that game so bad. But, again, I was on Celebration Bowl duty. So I had to, do all my work covering the Celebration Bowl, and I couldn't get out of the house for that. I really wanted to go see Archmere play Caravel. But Archmere is going to be tough, too, because Bridget Malloy is on the short list for Girls Player of the Year. Easily on the short list for Girls Player of the Year. If you had to make me pick, like, the top 3 candidates for Girls Player of the Year at this point, it's Skylar Bolden from St. Elizabeth, because she's still going to make her presence felt at some point. Uh, Amalia Fruckman from Cape, and who did I just mention that quickly? And I forgot that quickly. I'm sorry. It's early. It's almost lunchtime, and I have not eaten yet. But yeah, Bridget Malloy. Yes. So those three, Bridget Malloy, Skylar Bolden, and Amalia Fruckman, are the clubhouse leaders right now for Delaware Girls Player of the Year. I mean, it's still early. I mean, we still got 3 months of basketball left. So there's really no telling who's going to establish themselves, who may, take a step back. But on the girl side of things, there's a lot to like. I mean, you're still going to have your usual suspects in the Final Four, I believe. You're still going to have Caravel, still going to have Sanford. Ursuline, you can't discount, because I still think they'll get it together because, I mean, hello, Amory Anderson scored 32 points in the first game. Freshmen don't score 32 in their first game like that. She did. And again, I still think Nia Murphy is going to make her presence felt. So that you can't discount that Ursuline team. St. Mark's is 3-0. Oh my God, St. Mark's is 3-0. I forgot. St. Mark's is unbeaten at this point. So the girls' side of things is really getting interesting as the season starts. I mean, but as the time we get to like late January, early February, we'll start to see some separation. But right now, there's a lot of good teams that you should get out there and go see. Absolutely. I'm absolutely, and I'm going to try to do a double header on Thursday, believe it or not, because I'm going to go see Seaford St. George's boys at 5:15. Then I'm going to try to beat it back over the Bill Roth Bridge and across 72 to go see Smyrna girls play Caravel at 7:15. Wish me luck. Hopefully it's not raining or snowing outside, either one, on Thursday when it's time for me to try that double header. But on the boys' side of things, it's been we've gotten a lot of invitational tournaments. The D1 showcase once again is going on. It was going on in Salesian. I don't know if they're playing today because of the snowy conditions, but you got to see Dover, you got to see Sanford against out of state competition, and they didn't do very bad. I mean, they didn't do terrible, but there's Salesian played what was it, a Riverdale Baptist. I think that's where Kevin Durant went to high school, if I'm not mistaken. So there's a lot. I mean, it's good that, again, you want Delaware kids to see out of state competition because it tells you how good you can be or how much work you have to do. And that's why you get a lot of these teams that are, that have aspirations beyond a conference title, playing in these showcases, because you have to be able to, you know, learn what your team's strengths are against some stronger competition. So once you see competition that is more on your level, you have more confidence that you can succeed and compete and win. And that's why, the D1 showcase is great. Mark Sills, who does the Urban Youth Showcase out at Mount Pleasant, that was a fun little, thing to keep track of. And the boys' side of things, again, I'm not picking a winner yet. I mean, I did say last week that Dover is the best team in the state right now, but I still think Howard has his case. Salesianum is going to, get it together soon. Seaford, I'm looking forward to seeing Seaford for the first time in person in a couple of years this Thursday. St. George's as well. Howard, did I say Howard already? Yeah, you can't sleep on Howard. Cape Henlopen. Cape Henlopen right now looks like the real deal as well. Cape versus Dover is going to be a show. Absolutely going to be a show. And I'm probably going to have to make my way downstate for that. Cape and Dover is absolutely going to be a show both times. Both times. So that should be a fun matchup. The boys' side of things is just really fun to watch. And hopefully we don't get too much snow. I mean, as a person who loves snow, I mean, I was out there 7 o'clock this morning with my digital camera shooting videos and pictures, but hopefully the snow stays away so we can have more fun basketball, And if you guys have a question while I'm still on here, because I'm only going to do this for a little while, and because I haven't eaten breakfast yet, and I've been trying to get some other stuff in order. But if you have any questions, if you have a topic you want to broach in the next 5 minutes, please let me know, because if not, I am going to get off of here and go eat. But hopefully, this first full week of basketball has shown us that we don't need to split a tournament up, because there's a lot of talent around the state. Imagine if you are, a team that's on the rise, like, say, Seaford, and they're going to look at your enrollment and say, oh, wow, Seaford is a Division III basketball team, or Division I, whatever one you want to, whichever order they're going to do it. And it's like, no, no. or if you or if you're unfortunately if you're Saint E, who had a talented squad that made the Final Four last year, and then all those kids transferred and graduated, and they're like, oh wow, Saint E made the Final Four last year. Let's put them in the highest division. They ain't ready for that. This team is not ready for that. This iteration of Saint E's isn't ready for that. So you're really playing with playing with fire here if you want to split up a tournament that does not need to be split up. Football, yes. Hockey, I got. Field hockey, I got, because Del Mar and Cape have just been dominant. I mean, Cape is still dominant in Division One, but now somebody other than Del Mar actually won Division Two this year in field hockey. I was shocked. I was like, where the heck is Del Mar? I was like, where's Del Mar? They're usually in this thing all the time. But yeah, some sports need to be split. Basketball is not one of those sports that needs to be split. Just my personal opinion. But let me know what you think. Do you think basketball needs to be split? Or do you think we're fine with the tournament? I said I was going to post a video of the coaches that I interviewed during the Delaware Online Basketball Media Day. I'm still going to get around to it. I've just had a really busy week, and it's not going to get any less busy because now the college football season is over, I'm diving headfirst into basketball season. So I'll post that video, and I still have to, again, before Christmas break, I am going to post the season preview. So if you need a preview questionnaire, let me put this up right now so I don't forget and you don't forget. Because a lot of coaches, I sent an email to all 112 coaches because we have 50, well, actually closer to 110 because we have 56 boys basketball teams and 54 girls basketball teams. So if you need a preseason questionnaire, hit the email. Please hit the email. If you're a coach and you're watching this and you catch this on the flip and you have not seen a First State Hoops Report preseason preview questionnaire, even though the season's already started, there's the email address. Feel free to say, hey, Chris, this is Coach so-and-so. I didn't get the preview. Can I get the preview? The preview form. Then I'll send you the preview form. You fill it out. Most coaches take 5-10 minutes tops, and they fill it out completely, so it doesn't take that much time. Fill it out, send it back, and when I publish these previews next Monday, December 22nd, your team will be included. That's how it works. That's pretty much how it works. So teamwork makes the dream work. And again, coaches, please have your rosters updated. Please put the stats in, because we can't do the things we want to do as journalists if we don't, have the information. So we need y'all's help as well. A shout out to Leon Gregory for checking in. Were there coaches who surprised you that wanted to split? Not really, because most coaches thought it was ridiculous. I mean, there was one coach who I cannot, name because, we have a good working relationship and, anonymity matters, as well as, keeping a good relationship and rapport with your sources. He said it was BS. He said straight out, this is BS after, the mic had stopped, which is, and I'm like, you have, and I said, I agreed with that coach. I said, you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. I mean, so, I mean, but most coaches actually said one tournament is fine. The few coaches who did say they were for the split, it didn't surprise me because, they come from smaller schools, with less resources and different things of that nature. So no, but most of the coaches, regardless of resource, regardless of talent, regardless of reputation and tradition, they said keep it to one tournament, one champion. So that's pretty much where that is, and I'm in agreement with those coaches. So yeah, it doesn't make sense to split this thing up. It doesn't. I don't care, if Sanford girls win the next 3, or the Salesianum, or the Salesianum boys win the next 3. It doesn't. I mean, basketball is a cyclical sport. Always has been. Like there have been public schools that have succeeded. I mean, look at Dover. I mean, Dover is the best case scenario for what happens when you invest and, allow coaches to coach their program the way they want to coach their programs. Because Dover's been in the state championship game each of the last 2 years. They've been in the Final Four. They've done, they are the top. I mean, they're the top public program in the state at this point in time. And that's what happens when the school district and the community believes in the team. You got to get the school districts on board with, making all sports relevant. I mean, basketball for this program's, for the sake of this program, that's the one we care about the most. But for everybody else, it's just hard when you see that coaches, when you see that administrators don't care, that you can't get the kids that you want to come into your system because the people who live in the district will not sign off on referendums. Like the way the people of the Brandywine School District are acting about a potential city district is embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's disgusting, to be honest with you, because to me the underlying theme of all of this is, oh wow, why does Brandywine have to adhere to the rules? They just don't want black kids in their neighborhoods. That's really what it boils down to. And I mean, it's disgusting. It's embarrassing, and I guess people have just felt the need to remove the masks, if you will. I can't say the real word I want to say, but you get the picture. Now that DEI is a negative thing, people are just like, oh wow, now we can say what we want without fear, which I don't respect, because you could have said it before. But now y'all are just really acting like total jerks because black kids in the city are hungry for legit education, and some of these charter schools, quite frankly, ain't getting it done. But hey, I'm just one person with opinion. I'm one person with a microphone. A lavalier microphone. Oh yeah, let me show y'all something. You're probably used to me using this microphone, but for $99, this piece of junk crapped out after 18 months. It doesn't work. So I can't use it anymore. So that's why I got this. I got this from Five Below, believe it or not. So you content creators out there, you content creators, you young folks, if you need something that's, it still works. Yeah. So if you need something that you can hold or get one of your subjects to hold while you're videoing them or taking pictures, this is $5 at five. It was $4.50 at Five Below. You get this. There's a clip that you put into your camera or your laptop. You hit this button right here. The green light comes on, if you can see the green light, and it works just like a regular microphone. At Five Below. There's a Five Below out in Newcastle. There's a Five Below up Concord Pike. Great place to go if you need tech or if you're just hungry for snacks. I mean, I'm sorry. Five Below is just like a great place for just everything. But yeah, this little microphone only cost me like $4.50. So if you just need something to clip on or something to have somebody hold while you're talking to them, Five Below. So yeah, I'm just one dude with a microphone who's watched high school basketball in Delaware for over 35 years, and someone who loves the game. And right now, the game is just not what it should be, because I don't think the powers that be want it to be the game that it can be. And that stinks. But that's going to do it for Holding Court. I said I was only going to be here for 30 minutes. We're at 29, so I'm going to, go eat, enjoy the rest of my day, and I will see you guys in the gym this week. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and tap the notification bell, because we post highlights here all the time. We also have different features and stuff like this. And our social media platforms, I will put those in the description after this video is done. I'll make those edits. But we are on Instagram at First State Hoops Report. That is all one word, FIRSTSTATEHOOPSREPORT. Our Twitter feed, I still call it Twitter, is FS Hoops Report. And we have a Facebook page, facebook.com/First State Hoops Report. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully, you've enjoyed your weekend. Let's get ready to enjoy this last full week of basketball before winter break. And we'll see you guys in the gym this week. So y'all take care of yourselves and each other. We out. Let me find the off button. Okay, yeah, we out now. Bye.